Hey guys, this is Paul Lynch. I'm an anesthesiologist and pain management doctor from Scottsdale, Arizona. Many of you guys have been following me this year as I went to New York early in the year and worked in ICU battling COVID. And I continue to give lots of updates this summer. And honestly, in the last couple of months, I think I got a little complacent and stopped, making videos. But I've been trying as we go into fall to start making some more videos and to help as much as I can. I've told several people close to me when I look back on this, I want to make sure that I did everything I could to make a difference and to save lives. And so my last kind of long form video was a couple of weeks ago. I did make a video last week when the vaccine was released. I was very excited about that and I wanted you guys to hear that. But it's been a couple of weeks since I really gave an update on what's going on. And the news is very bad today. 2 weeks ago, I still remember I made a video on a Thursday morning. And I said I thought we were going to break the record that day for most cases. And I think at that time, the record was around 80,000 cases. And we did, in fact, break a record that day. But we've continued to break a record every single day almost since. And so over the last 2 weeks, we've gone from 80,000 cases, which was unthinkable at the time, to yesterday, we logged 187,000 cases in the United States, which to me is just unthinkable. Somewhere between 0.5% and 1% of these patients will die. And so this virus continues to spread out of control. And I want to give you guys an update as best as I can today. I'm not going to screenshot all of this. What I'll do is I'll put links below to everything I'm talking about. And I'll maybe include at least one picture. But I want to go through some of the data at a high level. So worldwide now, this is November 14th, 2020. We're up to 54 million cases of coronavirus, which has led to 1.3 million deaths. We're starting to see this virus out of control in many countries around the world. So yesterday we logged 660,000 cases worldwide. Just as a comparison, just in Europe, there were 280,000. We've been running close to 300,000 cases a day in Europe for the last 10 days. And this is so shocking because when I got a little complacent this summer, we were down to 10 or 15,000 cases a day in Europe, and it seems that Europe had kind of squelched it, but it's really back with a vengeance. If you look at today, we're still early. It's only like 2 o'clock here Eastern time, and we've already logged 530,000 cases around the world. If you look at the United States, yesterday was our worst day yet. We were 187,896 cases, according to worldometers.info. And I'll put a link below so you can look at this yourself. What was really shocking to me is that 41 cases in the United States of America had at least 1,000 cases of COVID. So this isn't something of just New York or Washington or California anymore. This is super widespread. It grabbed my attention that 216 people died just in the state of Texas yesterday, which is just an intolerable number. If you look at today, the numbers continue to climb. It's around 2:30 Eastern time right now, and we've already logged, here's the updated number, 141,000 cases. By the end of the day, we may be in that 180,000 again. One number that really jumped out at me that I wanted to point out was, I'm from a lot of places, I guess, but I grew up in Kentucky and Indiana, went to high school in Indiana. We have about 6.5 million people that live in Indiana, and today we logged 8,322 cases in the state of Indiana. That's a shocking number and something that I think all my friends back home, I have a fair amount of followers in Indiana, and I would just say this is time for you to kind of shelter in place. There's really no reason to be going out to dinners or bars or honestly, I hate to say it, but church. I think I would do church online. You need to do everything you can to protect yourself at this time. 8,300 cases in the state of Indiana is just an incredible number for such a small state. And we're seeing this grow in other states as well, and I'll go over that in a second. A lot of people have asked me about death rates, and I see on social media there's a popular meme which shows how many cases there are, not a lot of deaths. It's just not accurate. I think if you show 187,000 cases in a day compared to 1,400 deaths, and you put it on a graph, Of course, 187,000 looks a whole lot bigger than 1,400. But the reality is 1,400 deaths in a day is an incredibly large number and not something we can tolerate as a society. It's not something we should be making memes or graphs about and saying is not a big deal. I want to bring up deaths, and I'm actually going to take a picture of this and put it in the comments below. We're so focused on the United States, and we're having a huge explosion. But if you look at the world as a whole right now, deaths are going through the roof. One of my favorite ways to track deaths epidemiologically, that's hard to say, epidemiologically, is deaths as a rolling average over the last 7 days. So some cities or states or countries maybe won't report on a Monday or a Sunday, and so it kind of messes up the numbers. But if you look at it as an average over 7 days, it kind of streamlines it out a little bit. Starting on November 6th, 9 days ago, we set the world record with 7,462 deaths on average over 7 days. And we have set that every single day for 9 days in a row. And so today we hit 8,776. And so 9 days in a row, we've broke the record. That's pretty incredible. As a world community, it's time for us to get control of this virus, once and for all. I just want to show you one more thing. I'm gonna put a link below to the Johns Hopkins website. One of my favorite measures to track is the percent positive, and I'll put a link. You can look at the United States, and it basically goes from red to green. We want to keep percent positive less than 5% to show that our measures are working, that we can start to reopen. If you can't do less than 5%, then certainly less than 10% is kind of a good second goal. But if you look at the Johns Hopkins website and you hit the map view, which is a really easy way to look at the United States, there's like 6 states that are dark red, which means over 30%. I just want to read these out. Idaho is 39% of all their tests are coming back positive. Wyoming is 43%, South Dakota, 59%, Iowa, 53%. This is crazy. Missouri, 31%, and Kansas at 59%. So it means 59% of their tests that they're running are coming back positive. That means a couple of things. One, the virus is just running rampant in those communities, but it also means that we're not testing widely enough. It means that most of the people get tested had symptoms and wanted to find out if they had it. We need to get to the point where we're testing widely and we're testing often, and we're testing people even who don't have symptoms. And I'm going to talk about that in kind of my takeaways below. So let me jump into a couple teaching points, and I'm going to let you go. What can we do about this? Like, is this just something where we stick our heads in the sand or throw our hands up or just say there's nothing we can do? Well, the answer is no. I'm going to start with the big 4, which you guys all know. We've talked about them here and you've heard them, but I'm going to add a little bit more color to it tonight. So number 1, wear your mask. But don't just wear your mask, wear them right. I've traveled a little bit the last couple of weeks, and I had business in New York, for example. My son had a golf camp, and so I've seen around the country different things that are happening. And in some places, people kind of wear their mask, but just because they have to. In other places, they really know they're supposed to. Don't just wear the mask below your nose or below your mouth or wear it under your chin or over your eyes. Like, wear your mask and cover your nose and cover your mouth, and always keep it on when you're within 6 feet of people. Wash your hands often. I tell people you can make your own Purell. You can just add alcohol to like aloe vera and make it about 60 to 70% alcohol concentration, and wash your hands constantly. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to wash your hands and then go up and shake people's hands. And I've said this on a couple of videos in a row. I grew up being taught to do a firm handshake and look people in the eye. But during this COVID environment, there's no reason to shake hands. I've been doing a foot 5, a lean back, 6 feet, hit them with your foot. That'll work. Stop shaking hands, at least for the next 6 months or so. And then socially distance, but I just want to add some color to that. Don't just socially distance. Try to make a goal to decrease your own personal or social contacts by 75%. 75%. Let's say in a normal week, you come into contact with 100 people. Try to reduce that to 25. Now, I know that in some jobs you're not able to do that, but talk to your employer. See if there's a way you can do your job from home. At my practice, Arizona Pain Specialist in in Scottsdale, we're still over 50% of all of our visits are done over the computer. And we do that intentionally. If we have a patient over 65, I tell them there's no reason to come in to the office right now. My dad works from home. We have a wonderful provider who wanted to work from home, and we've just encouraged that provider to work from home the entire pandemic because it doesn't make sense to put them at extra risk if we don't have to. And we have more providers that are ready to start working from home if necessary. So do everything you can to decrease your contacts by 75%. I think that's a good goal. And then get tested. Get tested often. These states that are coming back 50 or 60% positive, they're just not testing enough. In my practice, we just bought a machine for each of our locations so we could test patients, test coworkers to make sure that we're not coming down with a virus. And then after you get a positive test, it's really important to contact trace. I was in New York City last week, and I noticed that if I went out to a restaurant or bar or anywhere, they would take my email address and my phone number. And some people will get mad and say that's infringing on their rights, but it didn't make me mad at all. It made me happy to know if someone came down with COVID at that establishment, they would reach out to me and let me know. I think that's really important for government workers and businesses around the country to start contact tracing better. And so that's kind of my take on the big four. Wear your mask, wear it right, wash your hands, don't shake hands, socially distance, decrease your contacts by 75%, get tested, contact trace. Let me give you a little bit more practical advice tonight, and then I'm going to end. Number one, and I said this in the spring, but I want to say it again. This winter is going to be really bad, guys. It's going to be a lot worse than what we saw in the spring. And so one of the reasons I'm making a longer video tonight is I'm trying to get your attention that this is a really bad thing that we're dealing with. So number one, if you get COVID, it's really important that you're at your most healthy state. So begin eating healthy right now. We know from the data that diabetes, hypertension, obesity, all these are associated with a higher death rate. So start eating healthy. This is the most important time ever probably for you to go on that diet and lose those last few pounds. Or if you're way overweight, then to lose a lot of pounds. Start exercising. Get in your best shape you can. Supplement for your immune system. Take vitamins like vitamin D. You're going to hear me talk a lot more about vitamin D this winter, but vitamin D has been shown to help with pain. And so I've been using it with my own patients, but also it's been shown in some studies to help with COVID. So vitamin D, if you take it with K2, it works better. Zinc, you guys heard a lot about zinc over the summer, but zinc actually can help with COVID, and even vitamin C at the right doses. Some more practical advice, just rethink your plans for Thanksgiving. Everyone loves Thanksgiving. My mom's been peppering me with text messages and phone calls asking me what we're going to do. And I would just say, really rethink your plans for Thanksgiving. Try to make the gathering small, certainly less than 10 people. If you can get away with 5 or 6 people, that's ideal. Gather outside. I know it might be cold in some parts of the country. I'm thinking of my Indiana friends, but if you can have a small group outside and wear a mask, it's so much safer than a large group of 20 or 25 people inside. Guys, you got to take this seriously. This is very, very real, and it's going to be hitting us really hard for the next couple of months. Support your local governments. I've seen so much stress this year, Republicans and Democrats, even libertarians getting in the mix, the Green Party. But seriously, everyone's arguing about politics and what we should or shouldn't do. Try to put politics aside during this time and support your local government. There are going to be new regulations coming out. You may not like it, but your favorite gym may shut down again, or your favorite bar may shut down again, or God forbid, schools may shut down again. And just try to support the people that are making these decisions. They're not making these decisions in a bubble. There's all sorts of scientists and epidemiologists out there that are trying to predict our behavior. And what the data shows is over the next couple of months, there's going to be major changes coming. And so start to prepare yourself for it and support the people that are making those decisions. Maybe get involved and help make some of those decisions yourself. What I would say is we need to settle in for maybe 6 more months. And that's not the message I wanted to give you. I was feeling pretty good coming out of the summer that things were looking great, but things are exploding right now, and they're actually worse than I would have predicted. 187,000 cases in a day is insane. Give me 6 more months. I'm kind of talking to my mom and dad here who have, kind of hung out at their house for the last couple months and are probably getting stir crazy. But if you're 65 and older, if you have diabetes, if you have a history of cancer or any kind of immune suppression, give me 6 more months. Just stay inside, stay away from others. And I shouldn't say stay inside. You can go out and go for walks and do stuff. Just try to stay away from mass gatherings and from exposing yourself to too many people. Give me 6 more months. We have at least one great vaccine from Pfizer with over 90% success, and we have more coming. Give me 6 months, and we're going to get back to a normal society. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Thank you for following along, and I'll be praying for you. And please pray for me as well.